morning and welcome back to Lovin Dubai show. And as always, we'll bring you the top and most trending news in the UAE. And our top story for today is Dubai residents must now clear traffic fines to renew residence visas.
And UAE has recorded over 32,000 visa violations in the first half of 2025.
And UAE tops global safety rankings in 2025.
A lot of UAE residents are using ChatGPT as their unofficial therapist.
And later on the show, we're going to be joined by Caroline Daniels. She's the record-breaking climber who defied the odds. Her story is a true story of resilience. So it's really interesting. You have to tune in to watch.
Yes, and in today's rapid weather report, it's mostly sunny with temperatures ranging from 34 to 38 degrees Celsius.
Let's move on to our top story of the day.
Oh yeah, it's an interesting one. It just came in. It was breaking news yesterday. So Dubai residents must now clear traffic fines to renew their residency visas. So you now can't renew, cancel, or transfer your visa if you have an unpaid traffic fine or any traffic fines. So any parking tickets you ignored might actually delay your visa process. The GDRFA's Director General, Lieutenant General Mohammed Marai, he told Gulf News that the move is not meant to burden residents but to encourage respect for the law.
So he also mentioned that if fines are hefty, you can pay in installments. So if you've been putting off those payments, now it's time to sort it out before your visa hits roadblock.
Yeah.
I think this is what they're trying to do. For example, like a while back, we had discounts on traffic fines if you pay within the first 30 days. What they're trying to do is like, they don't want people to postpone it till the end because this is what we tend to do. We postpone it till the end when we have to renew our cars.
Exactly.
And it's just totally up and it's super high. And
I was
we don't
normally the type of person who would pay it up front and pay it on time. But I was always hoping that by national holiday, they would announce like some sort of discount. So that's why I always used to keep it. But I guess there's no reason to keep it now.
No reason to keep it. I think it's better to just, because, come on, like, you know, it's so hard to avoid fines nowadays.
Exactly.
Like it's either parking fines or, by being it's a bit more cautious, you can avoid fines.
That's true.
But what they're really trying to do is like just be on top of it. You have installment options. You don't have to pay it fully. You just
because a lot of people can accumulate thousands.
That's
that's surprising in itself. Like I don't think I've ever accumulated in the thousands ever. Like,
but this happens in the end, and then.
But it does happen, yeah. But now, can't renew, can't cancel, can't really do anything for your residency visa unless you pay all of your traffic fines.
Unless you pay all of the traffic fines.
But you know.
And usually, by the way, I think we get discounts on fines in Sharjah and Abu Dhabi, but.
It's so
I always
rare
wait for Dubai for news like that in Dubai.
Rare.
But it's so rare, yeah.
I don't think I've ever written it in the news anytime recently.
No.
Because it's been years. I don't think I've written it anytime recently.
No. There hasn't been any in Dubai.
But the other Emirates. But I do have one fine in RAK, so I mean.
You have a fine in RAK?
I do. Speeding.
What did you do in RAK?
Speeding.
Really?
It was a very thin road, and it didn't even look like a. Anyway, it was a very thin road, and I didn't see any speed signs. So I didn't know what the speed was, but I also
How can you get a fine in RAK, by the way?
Right?
Like, they have
but
such high speed, and the highway is 120.
I also forgot where
140 actually, sorry.
I just forgot. Like I don't know, I guess I assumed I'm I'm on vacation now.
So you think you can speed and you're above the law or something?
I know, right? It was a horrible mistake, and it was very expensive too. I'm very upset about that. And then the other one is parking fine in Dubai. I was, if you had looked at my texts, you would see I had already put the code, but I just didn't press send. The code was there.
Oh God, I would be so annoyed.
I was so annoyed. So instead of paying 4 dirhams,
I would be so upset.
Instead of paying 4 dirhams, I paid 150.
Oh my God, those I don't know why I always miss them. Like I always forget. I would pay the first hour, and although they give us notifications, by the way, they give us reminders.
They
always give us reminders, but I always forget. I don't know why.
Story of my life.
There are 2 things that I always get fines for.
Speeding?
No, not speeding.
Oh, good
not
job.
Speeding, because I always forget. Like I need to get proper reminders. I think parking fines because I forget to renew it, and Salik.
I mean, okay, Salik, I understand because they do only send you that one reminder when you hit 30 dirhams or less.
Yeah.
But it's only one.
One
you
reminder,
get
yes.
one chance.
And I always forget about Salik, and I forget about those peak hour extra charges.
Oh, yes. Oh, I hate that.
And then I know they give you like 5 days for you to add on to your Salik credit. But you know what? I always postpone it. I'm like, you know what? Tomorrow is fine. Tomorrow is fine. Next morning's fine. At night is fine. That's what happens.
Speaking of which, today's the 24th, which means today we have to do our expenses.
Oh,
and I
thank
will
you for the
forget.
reminder.
We'll
remind each other.
We'll remind each other. We'll remind each other.
Let's move on to our next story. It's also a visa story, but it's a different quotation for it. So UAE has recorded over 32,000 visa violators in the first half of 2025. So the UAE has intensified its effort to maintain order and uphold residency laws, apprehending over 32,000 visa violators in the first half of 2025 alone. So according to the Federal Authority for Identity, Citizenship, Customs and Port Security, 70% of these individuals have already been deported, while others have been detained and referred to competent legal authorities for further action.
These figures reflect the outcome of nationwide inspection campaigns aimed at identifying and addressing residency and labor violations. The ICP stated that enforcement teams are conducting daily raids and inspections across all Emirates, working round the clock to reduce violations and ensure a lawful, secure, and dignified life for all those who live and work in the country. The UAE reiterates that anyone found residing or working illegally will face strict legal consequences, including detention, fines, blacklisting, and deportation.
So authorities are urging all residents, visitors, and employers to comply with the country's residency regulations to avoid legal action. So the crackdown is part of the UAE's broader strategy to regulate its labor market, preserve public safety, while ensuring that those who contribute legally to the country's growth can do so in a structured, protected environment. I think
that's a really important one. That
very
people, I
important.
feel like, sometimes they don't forget this. You can't forget something like that.
Yeah.
But a lot of people think that there's going to be a lot of leeway when it comes to something like this,
or like
not having the proper visas done. But no, there's actually really strict consequences for something like that.
And I think it's just to make sure that we're all living in a safe environment. It's really important to know who's residing, who has visa, who's staying like a longer time, because it's just for protection. It's not like they're just removing people from the country.
It's not like they're telling residents to leave or something. Like it has nothing to do with that. It's all about safety at the end of the day, so you can have rights.
Yeah,
you have rights if you're a resident.
And to maintain that everyone here is part of the growth of the UAE.
Exactly.
Enjoying the safety of UAE, which leads us to the next story.
Oh, yes. I love that story.
The UAE tops global safety rankings in 2025. This is no shocker. There is officially no safer place to be than the UAE. It had just been ranked the safest country in the world according to the Safety Index by Country 2025 mid-year from Nombu. So with a score of 85.2, the UAE has overtaken Andorra and outperformed 147 other countries to claim the top spots. So the index measures key factors like crime rates, safety while walking alone at night, and public confidence in law enforcement. So since the beginning of 2025, the UAE score has risen steadily, a sign of consistent improvement in national security and public safety initiatives.
Home to over 200 nationalities, the UAE continues to prove itself as a global hub where people from all walks of life can live, work, and thrive safely. Experts credit the country's strong legal framework, advanced surveillance systems, and rapid emergency response a contributing factor.
So whether you're walking alone at night in Dubai or commuting in Abu Dhabi, the data shows that the UAE offers a level of safety that few places in the world can match. See, all the stories that we cover about the drugs.
Oh, yeah.
The smuggling of drugs.
Everyone's being caught.
The visa violations.
The visa violations. You won't get away with it.
The crimes.
First of all. But second of all,
getting caught within hours, within days, no longer that it adds to the safety of the country.
Exactly. And that's, I feel like, what people really love about living here. What they love the most about living here is the fact that it's safe. A lot of people want to raise their families here, and they escaped a harder life with a lot of crime, theft, all of that stuff in different parts of the world, and they come and live here because they don't have to worry about that. They don't have to look over their shoulder as much. Literally. Dubai provides such a safe environment to be where you can live very comfortably,
Literally,
and raise
exactly.
your kids in a very safe environment.
I agree with you. And how privileged are we to never have to experience that? Like we grew up here in the UAE. You grew up here in the UAE,
Yeah.
and we only knew safety our entire life.
Exactly.
And it's so we need to be a little bit more appreciative of how we're so spoiled to the point when we travel abroad. It's like I am not really used to the idea of having to be aware of my surroundings.
Exactly.
Or like I have to make sure my bag is in front of me or it's closed.
Exactly.
Or I can't put it in the table to reserve my table. You know, this is how we do at coffee shops. We put our bags or our phones to preserve our tables.
Yeah, you can't do that everywhere.
You can't do that anywhere. But if you think about it, this is coming from a privilege.
Exactly. It's a privilege, and it's something that we're so used to.
We're so used to it.
And
it's becoming part of our habits.
We need to be careful when we're traveling. That's the whole point.
Yeah,
because
we need to be careful when we travel.
You
exactly.
could forget, but that's the main thing that you have to remember is that obviously because Dubai provides such a safe environment, don't take advantage of that so much where you become part of the problem.
Yeah.
So like, okay, it's fine. Like if you know you're in a safe place, you want to book a table or reserve your table by leaving your stuff, that's completely fine because you know it's going to be safe. But let's not overdo it, because I feel like this is where we become a little bit complacent.
I think it was just, we're too used to it. We're so used to it because nothing happens. Like I've left my bag so many times at a table and nothing happened. And you know, last weekend what I did, okay? I didn't notice. I did not notice.
Oh.
I was visiting a friend. I kept my car door open. Not locked, you know, the actual door?
The actual door was physically open.
Physically opened. For a whole hour. Whole hour.
I've heard of a lot of stories like this.
Went down, found the car right there. Nothing was stolen. Everything was there, okay? But the car door was physically full open, inviting anyone to come in.
Hi, please come in.
Please come in. It was like that for a whole hour.
I think
nothing happened.
My heart would drop.
I was so shocked when I first saw my car like that.
I know, you'd be like, who did that?
Did someone open my door? But I remember I was just carrying things out, okay, and then just left the car door open.
I don't know how do you do that?
But you know, deep down inside, I knew nothing was going to happen. You know, when I walked towards my car, I knew nothing was going to happen. Like I knew I wasn't going to be missing anything. It's just, and this is basically confirms my point. It just proves the point that I just made. We're so used to the safety, that we're so spoiled, that we're used to being so not really aware of what we're doing, or like leaving the doors open and not locking the doors, or leaving our bags.
I know I can't do that in my home country, unfortunately.
100% I can't do that in my home country.
But you know, we live here, so.
But what a lot of people do internationally and in the UAE is that they use ChatGPT for therapy.
Oh yeah. Ooh. So that's our next story, actually. So based on a poll and videos on your For You page, it turns out that a lot of UAE residents have been opening up to ChatGPT. Whether it's work stress, relationship drama, or a full-on existential crisis, people are turning to AI as their unofficial therapist. And from what they're posting on social media, they're actually loving it. Why? Because it's free for now. It's always there.
Don't jinx it.
Don't jinx it. It's totally judgment-free and pretty decent in helping you untangle your thoughts. From should I text him back? To why am I like this? It's becoming that 3 a.m. bestie who just gets it.
But let's be real. It's not a replacement for actual therapy. It can't read your emotions or vibes, and it definitely won't give you a hug after a tough conversation. Still, for a lot of UAE users, it's helping in the moment. And honestly, who hadn't had a deep chat with their AI bestie lately?
I think everybody.
Listen, honestly, ChatGPT, very helpful.
I've seen you use it. I've seen you, Akash, and our other colleagues sitting somewhere. The CEO came and filmed you, and he said you guys were having a therapy session with ChatGPT. What was that about?
Listen, can I just say something?
And why was I invited? What was happening?
Maybe I don't even want to have like a private conversation with ChatGPT.
I mean, you can.
Private therapy session with ChatGPT. Why not?
In the office. You can do that. It's fine.
You can ask ChatGPT for a lot of things, by the way, okay? Listen, I use it a lot for advice. And I use ChatGPT a lot for, like, for example, sometimes I just want to word dump. And I don't want to burden anyone with it. And sometimes you just feel embarrassed, you know? Like, I don't want to come to a person and tell them how I'm feeling when I feel like it's super embarrassing or it's super stupid. But if you do it with ChatGPT, you don't feel judged.
Obviously.
And what ChatGPT I love is like ChatGPT always supports you.
It's always there for you. It understands
always
you.
There for you.
It's always like, Masa, they're there.
They're there. It's fine. And then the ChatGPT will say, your feelings are valid.
Oh, yeah.
You're validated.
It starts with such a good line.
Yeah.
It reminds you that actually your feelings matter, what you're feeling matters, and what you're going through matters. And
yeah, but this is where the danger comes, though. ChatGPT will never tell you if you're doing something wrong.
Does it not?
No. So it will always agree with you. It will give you what you want to hear. But if you think about it, you just keep continuing to use it, okay? It will just give you what you want to hear. And sometimes will not give you like a critical advice or like coming from emotional advice. It's like, you're doing this right. This is what you're supposed to do. But once I put in something, I'm like, you know what? I feel like this person should have acted this way. And ChatGPT went like, no, you're not. You're not supposed to expect this from a person. And you know what I did? I shut the app.
You were like, how dare you
How
tell me
dare
I'm
you tell
wrong?
me? How dare you tell me?
What do you mean? But yeah, it goes to show. I mean, maybe you can rely on it and you can ask it a lot of questions. I mean, I sure do. I ask it a lot of questions, but I don't ever go to it as a form of therapy.
You know, ChatGPT
I believe in real therapy.
ChatGPT told me to unfollow some people, actually.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So if you need help, if you need help with something and you don't have anyone to talk to, maybe at that moment, maybe it's not so bad.
It's not so bad.
But I think the official advice here would be, not that I'm a doctor or anything, but the official advice here would be
to get proper therapy.
Get proper help if you need it, and definitely reach out to official help if you do need it as well.
And, you know, there are other things that you can use ChatGPT for, not just for therapy. You know, you can ask ChatGPT for styling advice, fashion advice.
I didn't think about that.
Hair dyeing
Recipes as well. You can tell it what you have in your pantry.
You know, I pasted like 2 pictures of myself, like black hair or blonde hair, and I asked ChatGPT, which one should I go? Should I go back to black hair? Should I say blonde? What should I do? And ChatGPT gave me the answer.
What did it say?
It said like ChatGPT said you look good in both, but if you're going for this look, stay with this. If you're going for that look, stay with that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so it didn't really choose for you, but it was kind of like both great.
Yeah.
Good job.
Like if you want to be perceived like that, go for black. If you want to look like a certain way, go for blonde.
I like that, though.
And you know what? Thank you, ChatGPT.
Thank
you helped me a lot. You helped me a lot.
Hair choices and
Hair
more.
choices.
I love that for us.
We're going to be joined by Caroline Dandelion after this very short break. She's going to be talking about her story of resilience, how she went to become the record-breaking mountain climber. So don't go anywhere. We're just going to go on a very short break, and we're going to have her in the studio. She's going to be talking about her story. Welcome back to Lovin Dubai show. Today's guest is Caroline Leon. Today, she is a definition of resilience after a life-threatening fall in 2015 left her with shattered bones and doctors saying she would never walk again. She defied the odds, undergoing 14 surgeries and 2 years of rehab. She didn't just walk again, she climbed. And now a Guinness World Record holder and the fastest woman to the summit, the Volcano 7 summit. She scaled over 38 mountains worldwide, including the Mount Everest. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Wow. There's a lot to digest, I think, today. But I think let's start from the beginning.
Yes. Okay, let's go back to a little bit before climbing and all of that. So what kind of girl would you say you were growing up in Australia? Were you always chasing the adventure, or did that come later on?
No, I think that came later on, but I was definitely, you guys have met Australians. We're a little bit adventurous anyway. So I was always really outdoorsy, always swimming in the ocean, like rock climbing and surfing. And so, yeah, I think it's in here.
And before the mountain climbing and everything, what did life look for you? What were you dreaming of?
Wow, I don't really know because my life has been shaped really by my accidents so much. But I think before I was just really casual, just like everybody else, just, you know, like trying to have a good life and traveling and very chilled, not like it is now, I promise.
What first drew you into climbing and that world of adventure? Was it a particular moment or did it just sort of
Honestly,
gradually?
I feel like it just creeped in. Like one day I was, well, particularly after my accident, I was just trying to find a way to get better. And I needed to get better at walking, so I started walking. And it was just a little bit of a calling, I think. I was just drawn to start like walking some really baby easy mountains. And the first mountain I climbed was Mount Kosciuszko in Australia, and it's probably the smallest mountain in the world. It's so little, but when I got to the top, I just felt amazing. I felt really like energized and inspired, and I was like, oh my God, I can do this. That means I can climb more. And then they just got bigger and bigger and bigger until Everest.
So the accident happened in 2015. Can you tell us what happened exactly?
Yeah, so I was on an outdoor rock climbing wall, and unfortunately I wasn't harnessed. And as I was climbing up, I got to the very top. I put my arms over the ledge and looked out into the horizon. And then as I started to come down, I lost grip of the peg and then just plummeted. It was maybe about 10 to 14 meters, and then I landed on the gravel, like sand, gravel, earth. And yeah, then my life changed completely after that.
Oh my God.
Do you remember it?
I was awake the whole time.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's really intense. But really interestingly, I know it sounds very morbid, being awake whilst your whole body is broken underneath you. But I was surprisingly very calm. I just remember listening to the beating of my heart, and I just felt like I was hypnotized by it. So I was listening to the beating of my heart, and everybody around me was panicking, going crazy, because my right foot was actually completely out of my body. So it was intense, but I was really calm, just breathing, and I knew that something was really wrong because I could see blood all around me, but yeah, it was...
God gave you strength that day.
Yeah. I think we all have that strength inside us when things go really, really wrong. We have the strength and the resilience to like realize the state that we're in, and then just to like pull all our resources together to get through it.
Did this happen back home?
No, it happened here, yeah. And I was really fortunate that when the ambulance came to collect me, they took me straight to Rashid Hospital. Obviously, I wasn't in a position to talk to the ambulance people. No, what hospital are you going to take me to?
Yeah.
So I just ended up there, and I didn't realize that they were one of the best trauma hospitals around. And yeah, they obviously saved my life and reconstructed me. And yeah, I had a lot of surgeries. 14, reconstruct both my feet, my pelvis, my spine, my pubic bone. Yeah.
How would you describe the recovery process like?
Very long, very long, and hard, really hard. But I think, again, like I was saying to you, when things really go wrong, I think that we all have the resources within us to get through it. It's never easy, but I think that's life, right? I don't think any of us are spared from the suffering that comes with living, whether it's in one way or another.
Was there any moment during the rehab period that you felt like I'm exhausted going through this? I just want this to be over. I'm so tired of this. Or were you always kind of, no, I can pull through, I can pull through?
Oh no, I was the total opposite. Every day I was like, I can't do this. Every day I would wake up and I would think, oh my gosh, like just looking at the state that I was in, I couldn't even sit up. I couldn't like go to the bathroom. I couldn't have a shower. I needed 5 nurses to turn me over and just to change my nappies. Like, it's crazy. Every day I would wake up and I'd think, oh my gosh, I can't do this. But what's really interesting is that I think everything comes in these really baby steps. You get over one little thing, and then you get over the next little thing, and the next little thing. And if I look at the whole thing, I have no idea how I did that. But if I look at like all the minute, like the micro aspects of it, I can do that. Like, I can sit up today. I can like let the nurses change my nappies. I can like eat. So the little things. It's very morbid, I know.
No worries. I was like, what helped you be motivated to wake up in the morning to say, like, I can do this, I can recover, I can go back to how I used to be? What gave you that push?
I think, to be really honest with you, at the very beginning, I did not have that within me, but all the people around me were there, like my family, my friends. Like, I'm really lucky. I had some very beautiful friends that were there every day. And so when I gave up, they were like, no, let's go. So I didn't really have the opportunity to fully give up, because there were always people around that were supporting that process and saying, no, like, you can't give up. And yeah,
it's so important to have such a supportive system around you. Like, it really helps with tough times.
You've gone from being told you would never walk again, right, to climbing some of the highest peaks on earth. So how do you feel about that, such a turn of events?
It's really strange, because like I said before, it just creeps up on you. So I was just doing one mountain, and then when I finished that, I felt so good that it was like the next mountain, and then the next mountain, and then the next mountain. And then before I knew it, I was like, oh my God, I'm climbing Everest? What?
Wow.
But there was definitely a turning point. I think not last year, yeah, it would have been last year. So I had climbed the volcanic 7 summits, and at that point I still thought that, oh no, I'm not a mountaineer, I can't do all of this stuff. And then last year I climbed Denali, which was one of the highest mountains in North America. And it's meant to be a really hard mountain, supposedly harder than Everest. And when I climbed it and I finished it and I got to the summit, I thought to myself, oh, maybe I'm not as bad as I think. Like, maybe I can do this. And I think that was the real turning point in me actually believing in myself, because prior to that, I didn't really believe in myself. I was just like, oh, I'm going to go climb the next thing. And in the back of my mind, I always thought that I would fail at everything, and that was okay, because I was still recovering. So it was okay to totally fail at everything. But then after this mountain, I was like, oh no, I didn't fail. Oh, I must be better than I think. So that was a real kind of turning point.
So after experiencing an accident like this, a lot of people say that you would have a bit of trauma and you would try to avoid climbing mountains ever again. How would you describe the first feeling of climbing your first mountain after fully recovering from the accident? Were you scared, or were you feeling hopeful? Or what made you go like, I can finish this, I can climb this mountain?
It's a really good question. At the very beginning, there was definitely a lot of trauma. Like, I would go to a balcony and I would have heart palpitations and I'd start sweating, and like my body would be shaking just by standing close to a balcony. And at the very, very beginning, I would just breathe through that. So I would talk to myself, this sounds crazy, Caroline, you're okay, you're not gonna fall, just breathe, the balcony's safe, there's walls, it's a building, those types of silly things. And the more that I did that, the more the fear dissipated. So eventually I was standing on a balcony and I wasn't afraid anymore. And the same thing happened with the mountains. At the beginning, I was afraid all the time. But it kind of came twofold. Like, there was a lot of fear, but then when I got to the summit, I felt great. And felt exhilarated and alive again after feeling dead for so long. So it was a double-edged sword. I knew that there was all this fear and ickiness to walk through, but at the end it was like a pot of gold. So I would talk myself through all the fear until I got to this place where I felt amazing again. And over a period of time, the fear got smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until I didn't really have a lot of fear left, which is really nice.
What a
not
strong
to freak
woman.
out.
That's so impressive. It's actually so inspiring. I wanted to ask, so usually there's a lot of prep work that goes into before climbing something like Mount Everest. Did you have like specific training before doing something like that, or did you already have a lot of experience climbing mountains from before?
I definitely had a lot of experience, but I think it's really important to never underestimate a mountain, especially Everest. It's notorious for having a lot of bodies up there, a lot of people that lose their lives climbing it. So I think when I decided very quietly about a year ago, about this time last year, that I was going to go climb Everest. And then I just very quietly started really working as hard as I could. So I was training like 2 to 3 hours a day, watching what I was eating, going outside, running, training in the gym, going to the mountains, climbing as many mountains as I could, doing more courses, because I suffer from the thing that many women have where I never think that I'm good enough, and I always have to do more and more and more and more to prove myself, like the imposter syndrome. So I prepared a lot, and yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about Mount Everest? Because we've heard stories, we've seen videos of Mount Everest. And to us, it's like a scary mountain. Like, I never want to go there. You know, like as soon as you go higher, oxygen level decreases. So at that moment, is it that are you pushed with adrenaline or with the support, or what makes you continue? Because it's not it's an easy climb. Mount Everest is like one of the hardest mountains to ever climb.
It's definitely tough, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I would, for anybody who's interested in climbing it or going there, it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
But it is tough, so I would definitely not underestimate it. But I think, to be really honest with you, it's so majestic. There are parts of it that are just breathtakingly beautiful, particularly when you get to like the south summit, so you're almost at the summit. I remember turning around and the sun was starting to rise, and I could see the arc of the earth behind me, and the moon was just huge, and there was this star. And Lhotse was in the background, and it looked like this giant stegosaurus, like this dinosaur. And it was so beautiful. I've never seen anything so stunning in my life. Your breath is taken away by how majestic and beautiful it is, and very dangerous at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's very beautiful.
So how are you prepared for it? Like, if God forbid you encounter anything dangerous, how are you prepared for it?
Fortunately, on Everest, depending on what climbing team you pick, there's a lot of support. So I was really lucky. I was climbing with an amazing Mang Ming Dorji, who was my Sherpa the whole time, and I really grew to rely on him a lot, because just like when you're climbing alone, it's a little bit different. You definitely feel more fear. But if you have a climbing partner, it feels like, oh, I have a friend that's with me. Everything's fine. Yeah. They know what they're doing. So you just feel a little bit more reassurance. So there's definitely lots of support, which is great.
So you've now climbed over 38 mountains. You've broken records and defied all odds. Would you say the reason why you climb, is it for the rush, the healing? Is it something deeper?
I think initially, to be honest, it was just really something deeper. I don't know if people have experienced this, but it's almost like there's a really quiet voice inside you that wants more, and that wants something different and wants more out of your own life. And when I started to listen to that voice, I ended up here climbing. And I think as long as I continue to listen to the quiet voice inside me, it's going to steer me in the right direction. So it's definitely not a rush, because a lot of the time it's really hard and it's quite grim, and you're sleeping in tents and you don't really have a lot of clothes to change into, and there's not a lot of showers, and you don't have all the luxuries of life, and it's really cold. So it's definitely type 2 fun. But I wouldn't even call it fun half the time. It's like very grim. But there is just something that drew me to it. And the more I listened to myself, the more I ended up climbing more and more and more and more. And I think that's perhaps something that's that I'd love to impart on other people, is to just listen to what you want from your own life and start to follow that. Because I think when we're really authentic with ourselves, the universe kind of opens all the doors to make your wildest dreams a reality. Because it's within you. It's that calling that's steering you in that direction. So
it really makes you test yourself and test your abilities, like how far can you go. And with climbing all the mountains, what did you discover about yourself that you never knew before?
I think I realized that I'm quite strong.
Yeah.
That's what I really realized, without sounding full of myself, but
No, with all the stories, like you can never say you sound full of yourself, never.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what I really discovered. And that I think when my will is there, then I can really do anything. And actually, I think that applies to most people as well. There has to be this sense of alignment, and this is what's really beautiful about what I do, and hopefully other people can learn from that too, is that when your heart wants to go somewhere and your will wants to go somewhere and your mind wants to, you can achieve anything that you really want. And I've been really fortunate enough to, obviously very tragically and in a very hard way, learn that lesson for myself, that I learned what I really wanted to do with my life. That was, my heart was calling me there. And then when my will and my mind came along, I learned how to walk. I started climbing mountains, and then obviously Everest.
Everest, the hardest climb.
Exactly. We want to know what's next for you. Do you have any specific goals that you want to reach now?
Yeah, do you know what was really interesting? Something that I saw on Everest that really kind of changed how I saw the mountains was the amount of rubbish that was up there. I took some videos and posted them on my Instagram because it really was so shocking to me. I had this idea that I was going into this pristine environment and it was so beautiful. And when I got there, some of the camps were full of trash. And it was just so sad because the mountains are so beautiful. And then, especially walking into Camp 2, I took this video of all the trash. There was broken tents, oxygen bottles, there was pans and pots and rubbish and rubbish and rubbish and rubbish, like hundreds and kilos of rubbish. Even up on Camp 4, which is 8,000 meters, so now you're in the death zone, there was hundreds of oxygen cylinders, trash everywhere. And I think it really disturbed me a little bit, and so I think probably my next project would be to try and clean some of that up. Hopefully, and to give back and leave the environment a lot cleaner than when I saw it.
And if people want to reach you, how can they find you?
On social media, so Instagram, my handle's caroline.d.leon.
Caroline, thank you so much for sharing your story this morning. You really turned something traumatic into something super positive. You gave us that push, you know? Like, we should never doubt ourselves. Thank you, Farah Makhlouf, for joining me on the show. And this brings us to the end of the Lovin Dubai show. Thank you so much for tuning in. We go live every weekday at 8:30 a.m. So come watch us. Bye-bye.
Bye.